Fresh Bake, we are coming to you from the top of Harbor Boulevard, looking over the 5 freeway and the backside of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I'm going to pause here. I'm doing that because you know what? I miss these too, man. I want to do a construction video with you guys. I've been jonesing for one of these. Everybody's been jonesing for these videos, and Liz and I were out driving around, and we happened to be in this area, and I said, hey, now's the time for us to go get a shot of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway from the 5 freeway, because it's easily done, much more easily done in today's environment than it would have been normally. Unfortunately, I didn't have Grandpa with me. I only had my phone, so I'm having to use this, and plus it's almost, 7 o'clock and the sun's setting. Not ideal. But really, that's not the point, because there's nothing happening anyway. I wasn't expecting to find anything, but I just wanted to show you guys a pile of dirt. And there it is. That's a pile of dirt. That's Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And there's nothing happening here. There's no construction. Everything has been paused, obviously. Whatever progress we could see from Mickey and Friends parking structure, which is on the far end of our view there, is no longer happening. So yeah, that's our current status. That's the alpha and the omega of this construction update. I hope you guys don't mind me messing with you, but I do have more things to talk about. Like, what about all that other stuff that's happening around Disneyland and even at Walt Disney World? As for the rest of Disneyland and its construction projects, the word that I'm hearing most recently is defunded. About 3 weeks ago, it was reported that Disney had halted construction progress on Mickey's Runaway Railway and Avengers Campus. Initially, we thought that construction projects would continue, but that was before California had instituted their statewide lockdown, and only essential businesses or essential services could remain in operation. Now, the definition of essential service can be argued, especially when you consider this footage that we shot just last night. This is at Krispy Kreme's just last night. So apparently, a dozen donuts are essential, but Disneyland construction perhaps isn't. I digress. Then, as of about 2 weeks ago, again, the word that I was hearing was defunded. This means that some projects were having their funding, their budgets taken from them and being moved to other projects that needed to be completed. For example, at Walt Disney World, the budget for the Star Wars Hotel was taken and applied to the Tron ride at Magic Kingdom and the Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot, those being more important to finish. They were further along and more closer to completion. Now, some distinctions are to be made here. The word defunded is different than, let's say, putting a construction progress on hold. The Tron ride might be paused, but it still has its funding. But defunded could mean the literal end of a project, or at the very least have it pushed back considerably more than they were already planning. Who knows how long? That could be a year or two, who knows? Now, I say that, I hedge on them ending a project like the Star Wars Hotel, because I just simply cannot fathom Disney deciding all that money is just sunk. That's gone, and they're never going to start it up again. So I feel like something like that might still have legs. It's not over. Defunded is a very bad word for it, but it's not over. We might see it. We might just see it sit in hibernation for a little while until they decide to throw some more money at it. But as of today, there is no money for the Star Wars Hotel. No funding whatsoever. As for Disneyland, I would consider Avengers Campus to obviously be one of those kind of projects that they finish. They're too far into this. They're too far along for them to stop. They are going to finish that project. They're just going to have to find the money somewhere. It may not be summer 2020, but I'm just maybe the end of the year, maybe winter 2020 now. Now, I don't think I could say the same for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. There haven't been a lot of details given. Not much is being reported on which projects were defunded and which projects were simply just put on hold. But I have to imagine that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is one of those projects that could be defunded, or probably should be defunded. They haven't even gone vertical yet. They're just still doing the basic foundation work. So I fully expect that project to be put on the very, very, very back burner, possibly even canceled altogether. Bad news, I know, but Disney has got a lot of cracks in the dam that need to be attended to before they can start thinking about, even thinking about expansion. And really that's what Runaway Railway is. That's the expansion. Star Wars Hotel is expansion. Now, what about projects like the Haunted Mansion refurb and the Snow White refurb? Now, total speculation on my part, and this is based on nothing more than my powers of observation and logic, but those projects will be finished. They have to be. The projects are too small, but also way too important for the vitality of Disneyland for them to consider putting that, putting that aside or waiting to finish those projects. When Disneyland is open again, they are going to need Haunted Mansion very bad, very, very badly. They're going to need Haunted Mansion. Now, Snow White is probably not at the same level as Haunted Mansion as far as that goes, but it still is very important, especially for Fantasyland. You don't want to have that thing just sitting there in the middle of Fantasyland, which, by the way, brings back another distinction that we should be making in terms of what is worth it and what isn't. These are existing attractions in Disneyland already. Those kinds of things I feel like they're going to see to the end. It's the expansion projects, like I mentioned before, that are going to see them lose their funding. And finally, all that considered, I think I do want to finish on a bit of a positive note. I do think we are now we're starting to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. It wasn't just last week or so that I thought maybe it wasn't going to be until the new year before we might see Disneyland open again. But I'm now starting to, based on the things that I'm hearing, based on the things that I'm seeing, based on the, just the news that's being reported and the feeling of people in general, I feel like we may actually see some kind of Disneyland open in the summer of 2020. And that goes for a lot of things, really. I think that the world as we know it will start to approach normalcy as we get closer to the summer, and then moving forward from that. There may be some bumps in the road, there may be some hiccups that may not be exactly as we once knew it, but I think we're going to start seeing things happen in the summer, and that includes Disney, hopefully. Now, I hedge on that because while they might talk about reopening the economy once again, that's still maybe just essential stuff. I'm not sure how essential they deem Disneyland to be. I'm not sure how essential they deem football and baseball to be. I think sports are probably more essential than Disneyland, but that's just, again, it's just my own thoughts, my own interpretations of things. But I do think it's possible. Until then, we'll keep our fingers crossed and our annual passes warm and ready. And on that note, thanks guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this bit of a tease of a construction video. I only had the one shot. Not much to report on, but there you go. That's what we've got. Until next time, guys. Hopefully we'll have another proper construction update for you in the very near future. And when that happens, we'll all be very happy. Until then, do stay safe out there. And remember that we love you, and we'll see you soon. Fresh baked.